This is Carl, and I have been playing around with a new 3D printer, and a lot of people have said, hey, keep us up to date on what's going on and so forth. So let me just start by saying this is the super newbie intro to resin printing in 3D. So that is an Anycubic Photon S that I got, and I'll be honest, all of my experience with 3D printing has been with filament, right? You've seen that, the additive filament. So resin, I thought, oh, you know, it'll be cooler, super cool technology, but it's like many other things. You don't know what you don't know. So let me just walk you through a few tips on my learning curve. Thing number one, you got to check out the YouTube channel 3D Print Farm. So Garrett starts with one of these. He's got other stuff with other 3D printers, but in terms of resin printing, starts with one of these. The way that the resin 3D printing works is you've got a vat of liquid resin, which is, right, what's there, and then you've got a build plate that lowers into the vat. A laser, boop, 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 cures little drops of resin, and I'll put in a super close-up of that screen, because what happens is it's literally slice by slice. So a simple piece might have, say, 500 layers. So each layer has got to have just certain pieces that get cured. And then it raises up, goes back down to an exact spot, and the next layer is printed on top of that. So what happens is that the printed product shows up upside down, stuck to the bottom of the build plate. So that's all cool, just a little different orientation. The thing that got me the most was I've never started a hobby that required so many additional products. And I will leave it to the 3D Print Farm. Garrett's got some amazing videos on all the stuff you need to buy, but you need to buy a lot of cleaning supplies. I had two reasons that I wanted to get into this kind of 3D printing. First of all, I wanted to wait until the resin-based printing was at a reasonable price, and second, I needed a project. So I've got a project for my daughter's wedding. Luckily, she never watches these videos, so it doesn't matter. But once I had one of these available, sub $500, then I went ahead and dug in. So let me just walk you through a couple of mistakes, and then with luck, we'll show you a printed product here when this is done. So the first mistake I made was not paying enough attention to exactly leveling the build plate before I got started. I followed the instructions that came with the book. Let's just say English is not pretty much the best language of choice in China. So what happened was that it wasn't perfectly level, and so I had a problem with the first print I did. So that's fine. I cleaned up my mistakes. I learned how to clean up my photon printer and soldiered on. Well, the second attempt, I could see as it was rising up that the printed piece would go up and look beautiful, and then it would tilt a little bit, and then it would go down, it would go up, and it would tilt a little bit and go down. And so I knew it wasn't stuck very well to the print plate. So of course, that one turned out to be a disaster. So when you look at it this way, what you see is that from the base plate, you know, it was building. It was actually, I'll put it this way, it was building from the bottom, but because the plate was wobbly, what happened here is that after a few layers, it missed, right? And it was basically trying to print something in thin air because it had wobbled. And you know, you miss something that is microscopic by a microscopic amount, and you've missed. So anyway, bottom line is that this just didn't turn out. So I knew that I had to figure out how to clean that plate a little better, and that's when patience reared its ugly head. So I basically had to go online, get all of the cleaning supplies that I didn't get, because I had alcohol, but I didn't have 91% alcohol. I had 70%. And I didn't have the spray-away glass cleaner, so forth. So I went out and bought the cleaning supplies that are recommended by Garrett and other people. The other thing I had to do was I realized there's literally like clean stuff and polluted stuff when it comes to touching the resin. The resin is very nasty. You don't want to get it on your hands. So I went out to get cleaning supplies and went to Rite Aid, went to CVS, went to Walgreens. None of them had nitrile gloves in stock. None of them had alcohol in stock. So it was like, I know people like to whine about Amazon being some kind of monopoly, but Amazon got me everything I needed in a couple of days. And the local guys just didn't have it. I know that we got the COVID going on, but whatever. You need what you need when you need it. I also needed an area dedicated to this. Obviously, this nice wooden table is not the dedicated area. I have ordered a little trolley type table so that I can move it around, but I wanted to live in a place where it can be next to an open door for ventilation purposes. But basically, I want to be able to have a place that if it gets messed up with resin, I'm not going to be too upset. So bottom line is, I've only printed a few things at this point, but I love the Anycubic Photon S. It's very straightforward, easy to set up, easy to put together. I highly recommend that you do yourself a favor and go to YouTube, watch all of the stuff on Garrett's channel, and then go find a few other videos of like, hey, how do you adjust this build plate? There's, 74 videos on that, but also just kind of watch some videos and educate yourself so that even if you're familiar with other 3D printing, you will skip a few of the steeper parts of the learning curve on the resin printing. I'm Carl Polachuk. If you like this, give us a thumbs up. If not, let's just pretend like you never watched it. Thanks.